Hey kids, Angelie here, and I'm back with another video for you today. Hello, focus on me. I'm just gonna be doing a get ready with me to see how we get this look. And just before we get into that, I'm gonna say right here, right now, that this video is very all over the place. I didn't really go in with a plan, which I know was probably not the best thing I could have done. But I was just hoping that kind of thoughts would, but that didn't really happen like that. So if this video seems kind of like very not cohesive, that is why. I just wanted to sit down, chat. I say it in the video. Can you hear that? I have no clue. But there's a crow right outside my window. I wonder if I tell it to shut up, if it'll shut up. Okay, it doesn't matter. But I said it in the video, I'm gonna say it again here, that there will be plenty of resources for you to check out, articles, videos, among petitions, places to donate, stuff like that for you in the description, because this is not just a trend. I'm sure you've seen this all before. Like, don't just be supportive now and kind of forget about it in a couple weeks, because it already has been a couple weeks since the start of this movement, and we can't stop here. I just gotta say that, which is in part why I decided to sit down and make this video. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'm just gonna keep today's makeup look very simple. I already have a everyday glam makeup look on my channel, and that's my sort of extreme. I wouldn't say extreme, but that's kind of like my, if I want to go the whole 9 yards, that's what I do. Today, it's just going to be simple. I'm going to start off with the Glossier Stretch Concealer as usual. Not that it matters, I use the same products every day, so it's fine. Anyway, how are we? I don't really know how to feel right now, as I'm sure many of you do as well. We are in quite a heated period of time. I don't know if heated is the right word to describe it, but it's the word I'm going to be using today. Because it kind of is heated. There's lots of back and forth happening between Democrats and Republicans, that sort of all lives matter people versus the normal people. No offense, but come on. We know all lives matter, but right now it is the Black lives that need our help. I wasn't planning on making a kind of video like this. I just want to get some stuff off my chest. Related to the movement, not related to the movement, yeah, I don't really know where to begin. I will say that there are a lot of resources out there that can educate you, so I mostly want to direct your attention to that sort of stuff, because I feel like I'm not well spoken enough to really make an entire video regarding the situation and ways you can help. You can obviously donate, sign petitions, read articles, watch movies. You've heard it all before, so I'm not going to really touch on that here. I will leave in the description whatever I can to help you learn, educate yourself, because I think that is the most important thing we can be doing right now, is getting educated. Please do that. Don't be lazy. I'm not gonna lie, I have been lazy too. Sort of prioritizing myself over other things. It took me this long to sit down and make this kind of video. All I gotta say, it's about damn time we reached this point, and I'm glad we sort of have, obviously, because if we wouldn't, we would still be stuck in kind of our old ways. Not that a lot is changing, but baby steps, you know what I mean? Are you kidding me? I don't know if you can hear that crow outside, but I think he's a resident. Anyway, I recently watched Amy Lee's video talking about racism, and I will definitely link it down below. It is incredible. Amy Lee's videos in general are just super, super educating. Is that a word? Yeah. Am I stupid? kind of. Educational is the word I'm looking for. So I really recommend her videos. And another video I watched really stood out to me, and I can't remember whose it is. Amanda Beebe, I want to say. She posts really great commentary on all kinds of issues, and she's very well spoken and passionate about things, so I would recommend her video. I think Tiffany Ferg actually put out a video on the movement. 3 resources right there for you that are so quick and easy for you to find. In this day and age of media and sort of the internet, there really are no excuses when it comes to not being educated enough, because you have so many resources at your fingertips that make it so easy for you to get educated. Like literally, if you don't know what microaggressions are, if you don't know the difference between systemic or systematic, if you don't know the statistics, like you can Google them for free, and it takes 5 minutes. You could even ask Siri, like she can tell you anything, or Alexa, or whoever you have, Google, whoever is listening to your everyday conversations, they can help you. I have no idea if you can actually hear this crow, but it's driving me nuts. Like you just had to do this now. Anyway, like I said, I wasn't gonna make a video like this because I feel like other people have made better videos, but I still want to bring attention to the movement just because it is now a few weeks of happening. There are still stories coming out every day of more and more people being killed from the protests, going missing from the protests. Just a lot is happening still, and also tons of backlash from people towards the protesters. Like, it really sucks how the media is sort of painting this picture that all the protesters are these aggressive delinquents who are just using this as an excuse to trash property, which I know some people are, but tons of protests are peaceful and nonviolent and, are not involved in any looting. And the looting only really starts until somebody initiates it, and then, people sort of jump on the bandwagon and see, okay, person is doing this, now I feel like I can do that too. Which is kind of expected in situations like this, but just the way that the Black community is being portrayed is a bit unfortunate and is definitely not doing good things for us. Now, I do say us because I am half Black. Filipino is my other half, in case you were wondering. And just because I am half Black doesn't mean I can't identify with these people. Like, I still am a Black person, even though it does not compile 100% of my ethnicity, which I've kind of struggled with in a way. Growing up, I didn't really know a lot of people of color, particularly Black people. Like, the only really Black people I knew and saw were my Black aunts and uncles on my dad's side and cousins on that side. And interestingly enough, pretty much all of my cousins are biracial. Yeah, now that I think about it, most of them on my dad's side are half Black, half white. Then there's me, half Black, half Filipino. And on my mom's side, all of my cousins are half Filipino. Some are half Filipino, half white, half Filipino, half Chinese. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I guess we're a very cultured family. I don't know if that's something correct to say. Diverse is the word. Diverse. But I think being mixed race really kind of shaped, I don't want to say it obviously shaped who I am today, but it did so in kind of a way that I didn't really expect. Like, outside of my family, I didn't know any other black person until I started high school, where there were only like 2 other black families in the school. So we are not a huge group of people by any means. I definitely, at least growing up, identified a lot more with my Filipino side because there were just Filipinos everywhere. There are Filipinos everywhere. Because of that sort of exposure, I felt a lot more Filipino than I did black, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know if I'm saying that in like a good way, but it took me a long time to realize my blackness, I think is what I'm saying. It just never occurred to me. Like, we never, especially in school, race was never something we really talked about. And I never really thought about my race, which I feel like kind of sucks. There were never conversations about race or racism. I know there's a really popular video going around right now of an elementary school teacher. The video is titled "A Class Divided," and before all of this even happened, in one of my psychology classes this past semester, we watched that video as a class and talked about it, and I'm really glad we did. Like, thank you, professor, for feeding us valuable information. And he also taught a lot about implicit bias and how that emerges in childhood and really sticks with us till the end of time, unless, you know, we are taught otherwise, if that makes sense. An implicit bias is basically like an automatic kind of unconscious sort of a way of thinking, I guess is the best way I can describe it. The most important thing is that it's unconscious and that you don't even realize you have this bias. And it shows up as early as age 5, which is very young, okay? The research he showed us was North American. I'm sure it's different for other parts of the world, but in North America, we all have an implicit bias towards white folk, a positive bias towards these people, and a bit of a negative bias to blacks and people of color. And as we grow older, we obviously develop sort of egalitarian beliefs and things like that to, you know, obviously make us seem more likable. That's the self-desirability bias, where, you know, we kind of lie and say things to make ourselves appear to be more woke, more attractive, more likable to everyday people. And so the older we get, the more we are aware of that, and the more we kind of manipulate the truth, so to speak, so as to be more appealing and likable. And so as we get older, we kind of adopt these egalitarian beliefs that everybody should be treated equal, racism is wrong, this sort of stuff. Even though implicitly in your brain, unconsciously, you still believe one race is better, more desirable, more likable than another. Which is so crazy to me, the fact that we can say that we believe in equality and all that, yet we think without even knowing that one group is better than the other. And there are, in fact, ways to sort of lessen our implicit biases just by learning and educating, seeing positive exemplars of, let's say, the less desirable race. So I think the most important thing we can do in these times is to get educated, realize that not all black people are criminals, not all black people are bad, that Black Lives Matter. I mentioned earlier that I am biracial, and in being biracial, it's very hard to kind of identify as somebody, like, especially when you're asked on, like, forms, or like at UBC you can participate in research studies for extra credit for your psych courses, and oftentimes the researchers will ask you your ethnicity, and they'll have a list. They'll say Caucasian, Black, Asian, South Asian, maybe Southeast Asian, and they'll have a bunch of lists, but they won't have like an other or like a mixed race category. So like whenever I would get into one of these studies and I would be asked like, okay, what's your ethnicity? Like I'd decide, like, what am I feeling today? Am I feeling Filipino today? Am I feeling black today? What do I put? Sometimes there will be an other category, which is nice, and then you can specify I am African Filipino Canadian. That just kind of reaffirms my confusion in life. And it's not that I even have to choose a side, because I really don't feel more black than I do Filipino, nor do I feel more Filipino than I do black. Obviously, depending on the circumstances, I might feel different ways, but you can be both, which has taken me a long time to realize. Like, especially in high school, I didn't really, like, have a group. Like, I had friends, but all my friends are white, and so they kind of related in that sort of way. And there were Filipino kids in my grade, there were no black kids, but the group of Filipino girls, they were all, like, super close. And not that I wasn't friends with them, but, like, they would always hang out together. And not that I was really close with them either, but, like, still. Like, I felt like I couldn't really be a part of their friend group. Like, that's not true. I'm kind of, like, overreacting in a way. Like, it's not that I couldn't hang out with them. It's just that they were already so, like, tight-knit. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I really don't know. Times like these are confusing, to say the least. But I think I'm done my makeup. I really don't think I made any sort of coherent sense. I'm getting very warm. Forgot to put on deodorant. Yep. Okay, bangs. If you made it this far, thanks for listening to my incoherent rant. I hope that you take something out of this. The most important thing, like I said before, is to keep on learning. Don't just ask your black friends how best to act or respond in these sort of situations. Obviously, it's good to learn about their experiences, to realize, you know, how they're feeling right now. And you shouldn't just be doing that now. Like, you should be doing that on a regular basis if you are friends. So definitely check in on your friends, but also do your own work. Google things. Something you don't know, Google it. This situation is no different from any other sort of questions you might have. Anyway, I've been rambling for about half an hour now. See you in my next video.